The dream of Europe shimmered in my mind, a tapestry woven with images of cobblestone streets, ancient ruins, and vibrant cultures. It was a dream fueled by countless stories and photographs, a world waiting to be explored. Ancient castles standing as silent witnesses to centuries of history beckoned me with their mysterious allure. I imagined myself wandering through their halls, tracing the footsteps of kings and queens, and unraveling the secrets hidden within their stone walls. Vibrant city squares, alive with the energy of locals and travelers alike, promised a sensory feast. I yearned to immerse myself in the bustling atmosphere, to witness the daily rhythms of European life, and to feel the pulse of each unique city. New languages, a symphony of unfamiliar sounds and foods, an explosion of flavors I had only dreamt of tasting. I craved the challenge of navigating foreign tongues, and the delight of discovering culinary treasures in hidden corners. But reality hit with the force of a cold shower. I had only $100 to my name. That was it. My entire European adventure hinged on this single bill. Most would call it impossible, a fool's errand, a pipe dream destined to burst. The sheer audacity of attempting to explore Europe on such a meager budget seemed laughable to many. But for me it was a challenge, a gauntlet thrown down, an irresistible invitation to prove them wrong. I saw it as an opportunity to redefine travel, to strip it down to its bare essentials, and to discover the true meaning of adventure. I wanted to prove travel wasn't just for the wealthy, for those with overflowing bank accounts and meticulously planned itineraries. I believed that travel should be accessible to everyone, regardless of their financial circumstances. Adventure, I realized, needed courage and creativity, a willingness to step outside of my comfort zone and embrace the unexpected. It required a resourceful spirit and an open mind, ready to adapt to whatever challenges might arise. Not a fat wallet, overflowing with cash and credit cards. It wasn't about luxury accommodations or Michelin-starred restaurants. It was about the experiences, the connections, and the memories I would create along the way. That tiny sum became the framework for my journey, the constraint that would force me to think outside the box and discover innovative ways to explore Europe. It forced me to think differently, to be resourceful, to seek out hidden gems and local experiences that wouldn't break the bank. It was about finding value in simplicity and appreciating the beauty of the everyday. The challenge would redefine what travel meant to me, stripping away the superficial and revealing the true essence of exploration. It was about connecting with people, immersing myself in different cultures, and discovering the world through a new lens. With hope and nerves, a potent cocktail of emotions, I decided to go for it. To embrace the uncertainty and embark on this audacious adventure. Could I really do this? Was it even remotely possible to navigate Europe on such a shoestring budget? The doubt lingered, a persistent whisper in the back of my mind. Would I end up stranded, penniless and alone in some unfamiliar corner of Europe? The fear of failure loomed large, threatening to overshadow my excitement. The question swirled, a chaotic vortex of anxieties and uncertainties threatening to pull me under. But the desire to try was stronger, a burning ember of determination that refused to be extinguished. I was driven by a deep-seated belief in my own resourcefulness, and a yearning to prove that anything is possible with enough grit and determination. This journey would be about more than just places, more than just ticking off landmarks on a map. It was about something far more profound. It would be about discovering my own strength, my own resilience, my own ability to overcome obstacles and thrive in the face of adversity. It was a journey of self-discovery, a quest to unlock my full potential. I packed my bag, carefully selecting only the essentials, took a deep breath, a moment of quiet contemplation before the storm, and stepped into the unknown, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited me. Europe on $100, a seemingly impossible feat, a challenge that would push me to my limits. My adventure had begun, and I was ready to face it head-on, armed with nothing but $100 and an unwavering spirit. Planning was everything. It was the bedrock upon which this entire adventure would be built. Every detail, no matter how small, needed to be considered and meticulously organized. Every dollar, every cent had to be accounted for. This wasn't just about saving money, it was about maximizing the experience within the constraints of my limited budget. I needed to know exactly where my money was going and how it was being spent. I spent months researching extreme budget travel, diving deep into forums, blogs, and travel guides. I was determined to uncover every possible trick and tip for stretching my funds as far as they could possibly go. Filling my notebook with free attractions, routes, and contacts, I noted down hidden gems, local secrets, and potential connections that could offer unique experiences without breaking the bank. My strategy minimized accommodation, finding the cheapest hostels or even considering overnight buses to save on a night's stay. Every penny saved on lodging was a penny that could be spent on experiencing the destination. Transport, opting for local buses and trains over expensive taxis or rental cars. Walking became my primary mode of transportation, allowing me to soak in the atmosphere and discover hidden corners of each city. And food costs. Street food became my best friend, offering delicious and authentic meals at a fraction of the price of restaurants. Grocery stores were also essential, allowing me to prepare my own simple meals and snacks. Free museums, parks, and churches became my main attractions. These cultural landmarks offered incredible experiences without costing a thing, allowing me to immerse myself in the history and art of each place. I mapped out walking routes to avoid paid tours, exploring cities on foot and discovering hidden gems that most tourists miss. This not only saved money but also allowed me to connect with the local culture on a deeper level. Pre-booking the cheapest buses, even at odd hours, locked in savings. I was willing to sacrifice comfort and convenience for the sake of my budget, embracing overnight journeys and early morning departures. Packing light, just a small backpack, saved on baggage fees and kept me mobile. I learned to live with less, realizing that material possessions were not essential for happiness or adventure. Ruthless minimalism was liberating. Only essentials made the cut. Every item in my backpack had to serve a purpose, and anything unnecessary was left behind. My notebook, a pen, and a few clothes were all I needed. These simple tools allowed me to document my journey, connect with others, and adapt to different environments. Flexibility was key, but the budget was non-negotiable. I had to be prepared to adapt to unexpected situations, but I never lost sight of my financial constraints. Every decision was weighed against that $100. It was a constant balancing act, weighing the value of an experience against its cost. I learned to find hidden deals and compare prices everywhere. From accommodation to activities, I was always on the lookout for discounts and special offers. This early planning gave me control over the unpredictable. By anticipating potential challenges and preparing for them in advance, I was able to navigate unexpected situations with confidence. The minimalist approach was my first step in detaching from material comforts. It was about prioritizing experiences over possessions and embracing a simpler way of life. I was ready to make every cent count. This journey wasn't just about seeing the world, it was about challenging myself, growing as a person, and proving that adventure is possible on any budget. Accommodation could destroy my budget, so free stays were essential. Couch surfing became my lifeline. I sent dozens of requests explaining my journey and intentions. Many hosts were intrigued and opened their homes, offering couches or spare mattresses. Some became friends, sharing meals and stories. Others simply offered a safe place to sleep. Each encounter was a lesson in trust and connection. I explored other hospitality networks and even considered house sitting. Sometimes I spent nights in airport lounges or bus stations, unglamorous but free. Each free night was a victory for my budget. Occasionally exhaustion forced me into the cheapest hostel, always with kitchen access to save on food. These stays were brief and functional, never derailing my plan. Strategic spending was crucial. Every saved euro meant more days on the road. Free accommodation was the cornerstone of my adventure. Getting around Europe on a shoestring budget required a shift in perspective. It meant embracing the beauty of slow travel, ditching the idea of rushing from one landmark to another, and instead, savoring the journey itself. It was about experiencing Europe at a more human pace. Trains and flights, while convenient, were simply out of the question for my budget. The cost of a single train ticket could sometimes equal a week's worth of food. Flights, even budget ones, quickly added up. So, night buses became my secret weapon, my trusty steed across the continent. They were significantly cheaper than any other form of long-distance transport, and perhaps even better, they doubled as accommodation for the night, saving me precious euros on hostels. Sleep was often elusive, a fitful dance between engine hum and bumpy roads. But the savings were undeniably real. Every missed hour of deep sleep translated to more adventures later. Ride-sharing platforms like BlaBlaCar became another essential tool in my budget travel arsenal. They offered incredibly cheap local rides, often far more affordable than even the buses, and presented a fantastic chance to meet locals and fellow travelers. Of course, safety was paramount. I always meticulously checked reviews, scrutinized driver profiles, and prioritized rides with verified users and positive safety ratings. These rides often led to unexpected and enriching conversations, turning mundane journeys into memorable experiences. They provided glimpses into the authentic everyday lives of Europeans, offering views of charming villages and stunning countryside that I would have otherwise missed. Within cities, I embraced the art of walking. I walked everywhere. Logging miles each day, I discovered hidden corners, stumbled upon charming courtyards, and soaked in the atmosphere, all for free. When absolutely necessary, I utilized the cheapest public transport options available, like local buses and trams, always avoiding the temptation of expensive taxis. Every single euro saved on transport was carefully allocated to either food, allowing me to sample local delicacies, or put aside for unexpected emergencies. My trusty travel pillow and noise-canceling earplugs became absolutely essential for surviving those long and often uncomfortable overnight journeys. Ultimately, the journey itself transformed into an integral and cherished part of the entire adventure. Embracing cheap transport wasn't solely about pinching pennies and saving money. It was about immersing myself in the heart of Europe, seeing its beauty up close and connecting with its people on a deeper level. Every step I took, every bus I boarded, every shared ride I experienced became a unique and unforgettable story etched into my travel memories. In the end, I learned to appreciate and even love the open road just as much as the final destination itself. Food could break my budget, so I got creative. Grocery stores were my mainstay. Bread, cheese, fruit, and yogurt became staples. Picnics in parks or on benches were my daily ritual, with scenic views as a bonus. Hostel kitchens and generous hosts allowed me to cook simple, filling meals. Sometimes a host would share a meal, a true feast. Local markets offered fresh produce for cheap, adding variety and nutrients. Street food was a rare, carefully chosen treat, a pretzel here, a pastry there. Every bite was savored. I learned to appreciate the simplest meals and the kindness of sharing food. Eating became about survival, creativity, and gratitude. My culinary adventure was humble, but deeply satisfying. My real currency on this journey was human connection. Couchsurfing hosts often went above and beyond, giving tours, sharing meals, and offering advice. Their generosity transformed my solo trip into a shared adventure. Fellow travelers in hostels and on buses became instant friends. We swapped stories, tips, and sometimes even meals. These fleeting friendships provided companionship and a sense of belonging. Small acts of kindness from locals, a smile, directions, or help with a label, made a big difference. These moments chipped away at loneliness and reinforced my faith in humanity. Kindness became a universal language. It cost nothing, but meant everything. Every connection was a reminder that I wasn't alone. These relationships were the true treasures of my trip. Human connection made every challenge worthwhile. Beauty in Europe doesn't require a ticket. I found it in old buildings, public parks, and panoramic hilltop views. Free walking tours offered local insights and hidden gems. I gave what I could, but gratitude was often enough. Parks like Berlin's Tiergarten and Amsterdam's Vondelpark became my sanctuaries. Nature's beauty was always accessible and awe-inspiring. I stumbled upon quiet alleys, vibrant street art, and sunsets over the Seine. These moments weren't in guidebooks. They were personal discoveries. The best experiences were often free. I learned to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. Every day brought new, unexpected treasures. Beauty, I realized, is everywhere if you look for it. My memories were richer for it. This journey wasn't always easy. Hunger and exhaustion were constant companions. Walking miles, sleeping on buses, and calculating every cent took a toll. Missed connections, last-minute cancellations, and language barriers tested my patience. There were moments I wanted to give up, but small victories, a cheap meal, a free bed, a beautiful view, kept me going. The kindness of strangers refueled my spirit. A shared smile or helpful gesture reminded me I wasn't alone. Each challenge became a lesson in resilience. I learned to adapt, problem solve, and keep moving forward. The grit behind the adventure made the reward sweeter. Every hardship was part of the story. I discovered strength I didn't know I had. The journey was tough, but worth every struggle. I kept pushing, one budget-friendly step at a time. Europe on $100 was more than a trip, it was an education. I learned we need less than we think, and we're capable of more than we imagine. Stripping travel to its essentials made every moment meaningful. Flexibility was crucial, plans changed, and I had to adapt. Embracing the unexpected became a life skill. Experiences mattered more than comfort or luxury. I met incredible people and created lasting memories. The true riches of travel were moments and connections, not things. Letting go of comfort brought a different kind of wealth. My journey proved you don't need a fortune to explore. Start small, save, plan, and take the first step. The world is more accessible than you think. The rewards, self-discovery, confidence, perspective are immeasurable. Go see it for yourself. You won't regret it.